And this is just a test, and we will see what happens here. I just want to say, hope you guys are having a great start to your weekend. It is October 31st, 2025, and it is approximately 7:41 CST. And I guess if you're on the East Coast, you're already at that 8:41 EST hour. So, hope you guys are doing well out there. So, I kind of wanted to come in and talk to you. I mean, I have a little bit of a, have a, I just wanted to bring up this entire thing about the digital ID, and I just also I kind of want to bring I kind of want to unframe. I want to I'm here to frame the frame this evening. And it's kind of been, I've already run it through my I'm running it through my rhetorical x-ray machine, is what I've done already. So I figured it was perfect fit, so I figured why not just bring it here. So hope you guys are doing well out there. So what I want to start with, of course, is, we've been talking about Mr. Gates a little bit. I kind of want to give you guys a few minutes to come, a minute or so to come in here. Um, I don't have anything to, I mean, in the future, I will share, maybe I'll share something with you guys. Maybe I'll share something with you guys in the background, but I wanted to talk um, about what I'm going to share with you. Basically is going to come from the Gates Foundation and just some of the previous streams that I've done in the past. So if you're interested in any of those, you certainly want to go through the archives and see some of the work that I looked into during 2019 and on, when it came to MasterCard and some of his philanthropic ventures and some of his friendships, so to speak. Okay, so that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. Um, I want to go into that. So I just want to go ahead and give you the line on this. Okay, so this is essentially, if you go on to the Gates site, and that's the Gates Foundation, you'll see he'll say he's got this thing broken down into parts. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the parts. I just want to give you a general gist of. Hi, Hopsh. How are you? I'm sure it has been a lifetime. It seems like it's been a lifetime ago, but it seems like things are seasoning and cycling. So, the more things change, they also tend to stay the same. So, welcome back. And so, if you open up his site, so we're discussing. I'm gonna add this. I should have added this tag. I don't know what I was thinking. We're gonna discuss global identity, and thank you for being here. And we're going to talk about the global identity because this is not a new concept. This was, I think, a piece that was, a lot of people anticipated that global ID was something that was going to come out of, that was the auspices of the COVID-19. Okay. And so what I'm here to, Mr. Gates is a huge supporter of, or a promoter of, global identity. But then his language, of course, I'm giving you right now, this is probably going to be an echo insight type of piece that I'm going to do right now. So I've already broken this down. I'm not doing bells and whistles right in these days right now. I've already started breaking down the language of this. Okay, so say for instance, this is part one. When you go on his website, you're going to see part one. Okay, and then it'll say our global identity problem. Okay, so when I look at that, I'm already, things are, the triggers are already going off. And I'm not saying emotional triggers, but the language here, language matters. Okay, so I'm saying that this is, when you use a pronoun like our, you are essentially, it's an inclusive it's an inclusive pronoun. Okay, so but then to me, he's not talking to me, and this is my perspective, he's not talking to the common man. So are you talking about our as in the common man, or are you talking about our as in the elite? And in this example, I'm going to show you the perspective in which, to me, he is addressing the elite. It's their global identity problem. No, it's their global identity. Uh, it's their digital identity problem is more or less what I'm here to show you right now. So to me, the containment that they're offering, this is all, about global governance and what they're going to offer you as a solution to your issues of, they're proposing safety through surveillance or security and protection. They're offering you safety, they're offering you security, they're offering you protection through all of these wonderful digital, and all of this surveillance, all of this is identity, but it's under the auspices under global identity problem, which is more like a global digital identity um, issue that they want to resolve. That it's the control, the global identity, the global digital identity, the control is essentially what they're actually going to end up getting. So when I look at this piece, he asks you a question, he engages you right away. He says, if a person cannot prove who they are, can they take advantage of all the opportunities society has to offer? Okay, so I'm sure that's hitting right down at home, right? So everybody wants to be a part of society. Also, I told you that word our is very inclusive, but he's not talking to the common man. He's not including the common man. He is including the elites. It's their problem. It's their oppositive duty. It's their, we know what's best for you, little common plebes. We know what's best for you. So let me show you how we're going to solve this. Okay, so then he puts it all out there. He talks about for the hundreds of millions of people that are without any type of acceptable form of legal identity. The answer is no to that question. If they cannot prove who they are, can they take advantage of all the opportunities that society has to offer? So no. So then he talks about how, to me, this is the new world system is what he's talking about. He's talking about how this identity verification enables people to fully participate in economies and access employment and education, as well as other services such as banking and government and all these things. But that's no different than a global digital identity system in which we are going to be ushered into. And to me, the infrastructure has already it's already in place. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm on about. Is this is under the auspices. To me, this is a big lie. You know, this is the big lie. It's not a global identity problem. It is a digital identity problem that they want to solve. They want to solve the problem by bringing everybody under control. Okay, so they talk about people living in low and middle income countries are more likely to go without personal details. And then it continues, it talks about more than half of those are without proof of identity are children whose births were not registered. And see, to me, this is to me, it kind of exposes the system overall, that we were all, even in this country, the United States, we were all issued a number, e.g., your social security number, you were issued a birth certificate. All of these things are representations of the human being. But they've also convinced us that we can actually be represented even in our values or what we think is important. So we have Congress, we have senators, we have councilmen. To me, this has been control, or dominion is what they've wanted all along. Okay. And so with a global digital ID, that's the way they're going to achieve that. It has nothing to do with them caring about philanthropy, humanitarian. It has nothing to do with their love for humanity, or no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm sorry to say, I strongly disagree here. I'm not here to convince you. I'm just offering you here is a guide to the narrative, the rhetorical map. It's a crisis, right? And their way to contain the crisis, that's their way to contain the crisis of, they want to make it seem like it's about immigration. They want to make it seem like it's about the common man's convenience. They will always try to convince us that it's about us having more conveniences, or, oh, this is what's good for you in the long run, or about, oh, this is about efficiency, oh, this is about safety, oh, this is about security, oh, this is about protection. No, 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 no. It's the big lie. There are big lies being told all over the place. Okay, big lies being told all over the place. So so they give you, and then they love to throw that word free in there. So let me just cross reference here just for a second. We're also, so you're going to hear, you've already started to hear things like cryptocurrencies, the tokenizations, the digital representation. So they've already, like I said, they've already convinced us, or tried to make us believe that a human being could actually be represented in some type of pure way. Well, it's not possible, because we were all made individually, and we cannot be duplicated. We cannot be represented by anybody. You know, we just can't. It's not possible. So, and the cryptocurrencies, the tokenizations, the digital representation, which is what you would be getting with a digital ID, it's all a form of the system that they are building. Okay, it's all that's representation. Cryptocurrencies, the tokenizations that I've read about on another one of these globalist piece that the globalist. A way they're going to be able to represent physical property, physical lands. Um, that's another representation, how they're going to be able to take the physical value of a property and represent it in a digital way. That's what the tokenization is. That's a part of that ceasefire, the plan, that the investment plan that that the powers have set up as well, in with the conflict in Gaza and Israel. That's another way of representing something physical. They want to represent everything physical, or everything that was made by the creator, in a digital way. This is the digital world that they're trying to create. Marcy T, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in. And Hopsh, let me read your comment. He says that control the masses and where it's moving. They don't want to be surprised by anything unknown. He also goes on to say, that's what I'm getting from it. For instance, certain technology, political changes that could affect policies such as change, digital currencies, for example. Yes. And the way you do that is to, if you represent everyone in a digital way, then the control that's gonna be inconvenient, right? Your privacy and all of that, you're not going to have that. Your data breaches, your user profiling, all of this, the surveillance, your exclusions, inclusions, this is all going to go, it's all of the same ilk, is kind of what I'm on about here. And then they talk about, so say for instance, we're going over to the UK's Parliament, okay, the House of Commons Library. This is my second source here. Is that here in their on their website, that the government has announced plans for a mandatory national digital ID scheme. And it talks about, this briefing explains what digital ID is and summarizes the debates around it. Okay. And according to this, what is digital ID? It says digital ID refers to a digital representation of a person used to verify who they are, or facts about them in online and physical interactions. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Here you go. There's that whole representation. We've been conditioned since the beginning of time that we can be, when I think about Rome, I always refer to ancient Rome, and the US being an ancient Rome 2.0. And of course, they had councils and, senators, and that, they had this similar system to what we have right now. Um, They have similar systems, and they all were, representation. They, the dirt poor Romans, or Roman slaves, for the lack of a better word, allowed, these people to live free, allowed these people to they were allowed to be, the councils, and the Caesar and all these people. Basically, they were providing those people with food. And and to me, it's very similar to what our system is right now. Everybody talks about welfare and all these things, but to me, what's different about our own Congress? They're the ones that live off of the backs of the people. you know uh they're the ones that are on welfare. They're on our welfare. We are the ones that are providing. We provide the comfort in which they live in, because they're not, a lot of things, to me, they don't pay for. They are not covering their own overhead. No, they are not. And so our system today, to me, is very much like ancient Rome. And to me, the corruption and all, and it's all very much like that ancient system. And to me, it's all falling apart from if it were ever to stand, it was gonna fall apart in the same way. The corruption, the secrets, just the grooming of it all. And so that's what I'm here to share. I'm just kind of cross-referencing. You have Bill Gates as a big proponent for what he called global identity back in during COVID-19. Yet everything, every theme, every narrative, just about from that time period, has resurfaced, and it's been reactivated. I do believe that Trump is more of an illusionist, and he is facilitating he's facilitating this, these things coming to pass. So you have fear that you don't have security, you don't have safety, you don't have protection, and then that's what they're going to offer. We are in, to me, we're probably already, look at this country. I think just today I read that, what is it, UPS is going to lay off thousands of people as well. So we're getting to be, it's not all. And then we have all this talk, we've had all this talk for months about illegals, and it's to me, not, this is not, all of this, it has evolved so much. It's never really been about illegals. To me, it's never really been about that. It's always been about control. The narrative also came up during COVID, in which they were saying, oh, well, they don't want to, they don't want to admit that they want to be able to track these illegals that are coming over from the border, and blah, blah, blah. You guys remember all those narratives. I don't mean to take you completely back to that time, but to me, hi, Freedom's March, how are you? So yeah, so it's, it's just another big lie. Okay. It's another big lie. And I'm just saying the concept of representing anything is not real, but they want to do it in a digital way. They're trying to, they've always convinced you that you could be represented either through Congress, senators, councilmen, but they've already shown you that they can represent currencies and cryptocurrencies, and they're the tokenizations and property, and transfer that value from physical property into tokenizations, and then the digital representations. And so it's all about representing everything in order to bring it under control. I've run it through the X-ray machine. It's crisis. It's a crisis containment plot. It's just what I'm all about. It's exactly what I'm all about. And Marcy T's here, and then Hopsh. I'm probably saying that wrong. If I'm getting it wrong, let me know. But yeah, so Marcy, you had a comment in here. Marcy says, if the government only worked 12 days in the last, I don't know how many months it's been, how is that not welfare? And look how much they get vacationing. Yeah, it seems like they go home they go home right at the climax of every crisis. Oh, it's a crisis. Yeah, but you went home, right? You took the night off, right? Who'd you pass on your crisis to? You don't have any operators, or you don't, oh, your voicemail will take the messages. Yeah, seriously, I don't know how anybody can still how are you still following this? How are you still doing this? How are you guys still doing this left right cosplay stuff? I don't know how you still doing it. I don't know. I guess it's possible, right? So yeah, I just wanted to, I just kind of wanted to get into that just a little bit. But I think um, I did see a podcast in which I think the British Parliament wants to bring that forward for their people in order for you to work, for you to have a job. They're basically telling you, look, you're going to get this digital ID. And they want to get it at the end of they want to get it by the end of this particular parliament. So we'll see what's going on. And of course they drop that word free in there, because that goes off in people's minds. Oh yeah, it's free. What are you talking about? It's free. So I'm just telling you, let me just give you another short little rundown here. So I just dropped this in. So you got the fear, you got the chaos, uncertainty, because look at our economy right now. Our economy, you can't really, it looks like it's in free fall right now. It really does. But I'm going to keep going here. So yeah, you do get that. This is a digital ID rhetoric, and it's pretty much following, it's following a whole skit. That's why I run it through the rhetorical X-ray machine. So, according to this UK government policy on digital identity, this is from their House of Commons library. The regulatory support for the private sector, the digital ID services are already used in the UK, and they are offered by the private sector on a voluntary basis. And the UK digital ID sector is generated by, I guess, is what, 2.1 billion pound revenue. That was in 2023, 2024. So, but then they're driving the narrative that it's about immigration and status and right to work checks. But then you have to have a whole nother system that checks that system. You see what I'm saying? It's just more systems on top of systems. We got to have a system to check the system, but you don't have any control over the system. So it's just going to be control. It's just an extra layer of control. And so I'm just saying, just guys, recognize that this is not, to me, even the narratives here have not been about immigration. No, they are ready to roll out digital. They're ready to get the digital. They're ready to they're ready to get this new world started. Okay. You can call me a CT all you want, whatever speaks to you. But, I just say, do your own research. Do your own research. So the digital ID does act as a containment phase of the whole cycle about security and legitimacy in the globalized world. And see, to me, I often think about Facebook. I think Facebook was also another tool to bring people, to represent people, because you have a profile where you have pictures, you have a profile with your picture, you have things about your life, you have facts about your life. I don't know, maybe it's fabricated, maybe some conflated, or some twists and turns about your representation on Facebook that brought you together with other people. So to me, once they did that, I think they kind of knew it was possible once they drew everybody in, right? That was possible. Let me just read some of your comments, Marcy. Marcy says, and it's all free. She says, you're in my system, you're in my system. A lot of tunes come back. A lot of tunes have come up recently from the past, and right now I can't think of it, but it came to me the other day. I don't know. Okay, so we'll talk about this another time. We'll talk about it another time. But then, okay, so the whole thing, you got your little motive about safety through surveillance, But you also know you got to give up your privacy in order to have this kind of protection, right? And that's also, they talked about that during the pandemic control, vaccine passports, cyber crimes, migration and border security. Do you see how this whole motive, it just keeps coming back because the ultimate thing is digital identity. They just want to cull everybody, just bring everybody to the to the to the digital. Marcy T says FRD book FED. So yes, Marcy, thank you so much. So this digital ID fits into the larger meta story. Okay. So that's kind of like what I've been working on. Um, so this does work within the global containment narrative is pretty much what I'm on about this. So this is a solution born of a crisis. And who was that? Was that Rahm Emanuel that said never let a good crisis go to waste? Never let a crisis go to waste. And they don't. And they're not here again, they're not playing. I don't think that Bill Gates is some kind of old big-hearted philanthropist that he just wants to save the world one person at a time, one disease at a time, one cell at a time. You know, he has the money to do that. He has the money to put these things out there, but no. So it's just each new wave renews the public's willingness to trade in. Okay. Um, Trade in the transparency for protection and dependence on the systems that set up the crisis. The system that set up the crisis is also the same system that you know that you need to depend on. So there's some irony there, but I just wanted to show you guys this. Marcy gave me a digital ID on here. So yeah, but I think they know that a lot more people are onto them, hence the kinds of things that I go through. And see, here again, what I'm not doing is I'm not telling you that I'm not giving you the truth seekers motif right now. I'm not. I'm just telling you this is what happens when things get exposed. They have to do more work to kind of silence or try to quell the naysayers. Marcy says, and why can't anyone see that after the lockdowns, even everything fell apart like everything, yet everybody still believing it? Yeah, it's pretty amazing, Marcy. It's pretty staggering. So that's why I come back here to do what I do. I'm still not done with my transformation, or I'm not done with my evolution of this channel. And I just thank you guys, for tagging along and coming along with me for as long as you have. So we'll see, but I'm not done with this. I mean, I could go on, but like I said, I've kind of done. There is a quota that I have put on the rhetorical X-ray machine. I just because I don't want to. I just want to kind of keep it. Just want to kind of keep it in a nice little tight boat, because we could go into many other points. We could go into many parts of the framework of all of this. But at this particular, I think we're pretty good for this particular segment. This is an echo and insight particular segment that I did. But and of course we could write it. We can talk, Mr. Gates. I'm going to do that in chunks. I'm going to modify and chunk it out, because there's a whole lot on this guy. He's doing a lot. He's done a lot. I remember he was involved. MasterCard. He wanted to put something under your skin. He wanted to vaccinate people with a under their skin type tattoo looking vaccine is what he wanted to do at one point, and that was via MasterCard. He had friends out of India, or philanthropists out of India, that he wanted to use that tattoo as a form of vaccination. And he was probably successful with that in some of these other countries. But, we'll go into that a little bit deeper another day. And I'll probably bring you back to, you can learn a lot from the Gates Foundation site. about what this man's interests are, how he's pivoted. He's got 2 other projects. Uh, he's targeting HIV as well as sickle cell, and that's a whole nother smorgasbord. It's just, you know, I find that he's got a preoccupation, a grandiose. He's got a grandiose concept about himself that I think is, you know, and that he's allowed to do these things is, you know, it makes me wonder. Okay, so hang on one second here. Marcy T. Oh, love to you too, Marcy. Thank you so much for your support and for coming in. And let's see, Hopsh 27 said, yeah, let these check-ins are good. Helps to us it as reference to see where we are, where this world is moving. Well, gotcha. And I will come back. I should appreciate you guys spending your your Friday, your October 31st, here listening to my echo and insight on the digital identity, or AKA the global identity problem, also known as, you know, with the migration conflation. You know, I just, nope, doesn't pass the smell test. All right, guys, I appreciate everything. Marcy T says, flip flopping now too. All right, guys. Well, you have a great great beginning to your weekend, and it's possible that I will be back, but not today. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Bye for